Good afternoon to all of you. First, I would like to thank Upasi for inviting me. I think Upasi and Sri Lanka plantation industry has a long-standing relationship, and that was one of the compelling reasons for me to happily take part in this event. First, I think it is quite prudent to give you all a very brief yet comprehensive introduction about Brown's plantations. Even though Brown's became the world's largest, single largest tea producer for export market, Brown's had a very strong relationship with tea right from the inception. Brown's is one of the few companies in Sri Lanka with a long history of more than 150 years. We just celebrated our 150th year anniversary a couple of months back. So, thank you. And company was found by a 25-year-old young engineer from London by the names of James Brown way back in 1875. That is in a place called Hatton in the upcountry of then Ceylon. The main motive of setting up this company was to produce machinery for the booming tea industry at that time. So his innovative machinery made a big difference in the tea industry of Sri Lanka and benefited immensely for the growth and the expansion of Ceylon tea. Since then, the Browns diversified into multiple sectors, and perhaps this deep-rooted ties with the tea industry would have been a compelling reason for us to get into this, the recent expansions to become the world's largest tea producer. So we made a strategic decision to expand our operations with the acquisition of former Lipton and Finlay's tea plantations in Sri Lanka, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and in China. So if you look at our investment into tea sector, we made it during one of the worst affected periods, or perhaps I would say in certain regions, perhaps this is the most worst period in the history in terms of the prices and our turnover and so on and so forth. But one point that I would like to emphasize is bad times, we talked about lots of negatives, lots of challenges, right? The bad times always bring in some rare opportunities for you to flash back and see how you can transform your industry. I think as industry, we are well positioned today to flash back and figure out what are the areas that we need to really focus on. I think we had that thought, and we made a deliberate decision. It was indeed quite challenging, but we moved our tea production from 12 million kilos to 100 million plus today. And also, today, we are one of the largest landowners in the world with over 350,000 acres of arable lands. So that itself is going to give us some kind of strength to relook at this particular industry and see how we can move forward. There are multiple things that I would like to highlight as an industry. So if you look at certain other sectors, like the various sectors, if you take automotive industry in Germany, is closely collaborated, like producers like BMW, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz. So all these producers are so closely collaborated for the advancement of the industry. And that has resulted in, with advanced technology, the highly efficient supply chain networks, and so on and so forth. And also if you take the pharmaceutical industry in Switzerland, is renowned for its collaborative advanced research and development. The companies like Novartis, Roche, they have collaborated with universities and various research institutes and that has given lots of groundbreaking innovations in terms of treatments, the medications, and a lot of other medical-related innovations. And also, if you look at the well-known the movie industry in Hollywood, there is another prime example for industry collaborations, from studios to talent agencies to production houses. They work together to produce blockbuster movies with rich content. That is again with shared expertise and shared resources. And again, the technology and the electronic industry in Silicon Valley, companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, they started with humble beginnings. But their ecosystem, which encourages startups with the presence of venture capitalists and various other talents, have made those industries today to become the global giants. So one valid question that we have is, do we have, like all these industries that I mentioned, which are much younger than tea industry, have thrived through collaboration and synergy. So what hinders the tea industry? So basically, we tend to look at others as our competitors who are waiting to grab our share of the pie. Is that the notion in our mind? So there are other examples that I wanted to bring in. Perhaps the lack of collaboration or poor synergy in the tea industry has brought in lots of negativities today. Maybe all of us are, perhaps all or the majority of us are paying off with low margins, higher wages, and a lot of other challenges due to the poor collaboration. On top of that, the poor cohesiveness has posed us as one of the vulnerable industries in the world when it comes to the geopolitical issues, the war, pandemic, whatever you name it, right? So I think what is more critical is to have a very strong cohesiveness as an industry to take it forward. So, but I'm a firm believer that we are not too late, right? Perhaps at least now, if we can look at the whole ecosystem and figure out ways and means. We are one of the largest arable land consumers in the world. How we can diversify to a certain extent, right? And especially in time to come, sustainability will be the core game changer in almost all the industries. So with our land mass and with our resources, I think we are well positioned to emerge as one of the top sustainable sectors in the world. Perhaps we can come up with a more futuristic, sustainable approach with synergies, not only with the industry players, but with the other sector stakeholders. That is something that I would like to propose. If you take the global challenges, the world's food security will be one of the top topics in the world agenda in time to come. So how we can position ourselves with tea is something quite conducive with intercrops. So why we can't look at various other ways and means to have some kind of relief in terms of our in terms of income generation. And also other sustainability initiative is, so just wanted to share some of the initiatives that we have started in Kenya. We are one of the largest biomass consumers in Kenya. Our annual consumption is almost 300,000 cubic meters per annum. Now we are working with a couple of companies to find alternate energy sources for our dryers, which has given some positive results, and we are pretty sure that in time to come, we should be able to cut down our biomass consumption significantly. So also, there are many other ways that we can look at as an industry, how can we collaborate? The collaborating efforts to enhance the market presence. Of course, still, the coffee is outweighs in certain markets, especially in certain regions where the consumers with a higher buying power. So why can't we collaboratively looking at expanding operations into those areas? And also sharing lessons and good practices across the industry players. Sometimes we tend to let your competitors go through the hard meal and learn lessons. But I think as industry, there are ample avenues for us to share our good practices and share certain lessons. And also, driving innovation collaboratively will give us more and more better results. And also, jointly developing a sustainable framework, a pragmatic sustainable framework for tea industry is something I think we can seriously look at. And also, joint clinical research to figure out the health benefits of the tea is something I think we can pay serious attention. Because I don't think any other drinks can surpass tea in terms of the health benefits. And also, sharing distribution and logistics facilities as an industry are some of the thoughts that I would like to leave. Apart from that, positioning tea as the most readily available healthy beverage is an honest vested on us. And capitalizing on the increasing popularity of specialty teas and ready-to-drink teas and coming up with innovative products like personalized tea. So if the pharmaceutical industry is looking for the drugs based on the patient's DNA and various other biometrics, so why can't we come up with certain specialized products, at least for high net worth clientele? So these are some of the thoughts that I wanted to emphasize. Before I wind up, I would like to mention a couple of economic concepts where our industry can reap quick benefits. The number one is the notion of shared economies, then the theory of the circular economy, the concept of economies of scale. If you look at the shared economy, under shared economy, they talk about the benefits of sharing goods and services by individual and corporates collaboratively. Just imagine a situation where in one particular locality, 10 different producers, they set up the production facilities, the transportation facility, warehousing, rather than everyone repeating the same set of common facilities that you can share. So if all these producers can get together and set up certain facilities in common, that will drastically bring down the cost. So the classic example for shared economy is the Uber, the Airbnb. So AI-powered platforms have given us ample opportunities for sharing resources. Right? So if you take Uber as an example, they have revolutionized their industries. So similarly, if you look at circular economy, under circular economy, it emphasizes the optimal use of resources and the recycling and the upcycling. So with that, you can definitely bring down your cost on the resources and also sharing of your redundant resources. If you look at our recent two acquisitions in Kenya, that was the Finlays and Liptons, we managed to bring down good 10 to 20% of our intended capital expenses by sharing idle resources in one entity with others. But as an industry, to what extent we are ready to do that is a question. I think these collaborative concepts are to build on the concept of trust. Trust is going to be a very, very vital element where you can thrive these concepts. That is again, I think something that we should seriously pay attention. And there are a couple of highlights that I would like to bring your attention to. When you look at the traditional standalone camera producing market, none of those giants like Nikon, Canon, or Panasonic, they never thought the phone industry will come and wipe them out. According to the data, out of the old standalone camera use, 80% of the camera usage was among the casual photography. Only 20% was the professional photographers and those who are photographing as a hobby. But this total 80% of the camera users, they move to smartphones because of the convenience and the possibility to share their photographs within a very short period of time. So none of these, the camera producers ever thought that the smartphone company will ruin their business. So similarly, Netflix has disrupted the traditional video renting industry. Digital news platforms have dethroned all printed media. Amazon disrupted the retail chain. And also, for tea industry, how far is our existence? Unless we innovate and collaborate, I think perhaps a lab-grown aroma and a taste can ruin the beverage market. It's only a matter of time. So I think I would like to leave these thoughts and let's take our discussion forward. Thank you very much.